safe space, okay?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to downtown Los Angeles and Staples Center. I'm Bill McDonald. You know, when I mentioned the name Dr. Jerry Buss, owner of the Lakers, I assume most of you know exactly who I'm talking about. And why not? He's probably the most popular and successful sports owner in Los Angeles history. Stay with us, everyone, for a very special half hour as Dr. Buss invites us into his house as we get to know the man a whole lot better. Amongst things we'll talk about, his love for his kids, sports, poker, and of course, women. This is, in my own words, Dr. Jerry Buss. Hey Jerry, this is a long way from your Pickfair days. This house, how long have you been in this specific house and why this area? I love it. When you built it, what kind of feel were you trying to achieve?
Well, I like the location. There's very, very few houses in all of Southern California where you can get a view of the city at night. It's gorgeous. And also of the ocean. There's a few others, but they're kind of rare, so that's why I chose this area.
All right, you got to tell the story now who your neighbor is and how he almost died when he found out. I mean, literally across the street, it's
Kwame Brown.
How did that come about?
I don't know. I was standing out on my balcony talking to some people, and I saw some new people moving in. And I looked down, and I said, wow, that's Kwame. So I yelled out to him, Kwame, what are you doing? He said, I just bought this house. So we're directly across the street from each other.
Yeah, you can always check on him. The curfew. Kwame, always got to check on curfew with Dr. Buss. Hey, let's completely go back to the very beginning. A little Jerry Buss. What were you like as a kid?
What was I like as a kid? Studious, loved to play Monopoly, loved to listen to Hopalong Cassidy and Superman. Played a little sports, not a big athlete, but some. Had a good time.
You were a studious kid. What did you want to be? When you were thinking, you know, when I get older, what was your dream to become back then?
Well, early, I wanted to be a photographer. But then when I got into high school, everything changed. I really wanted to be a chemist. I wanted to go on and teach school in a big university, preferably one with a really good football team. And that's why I went to USC.
What was the fascination with chemistry?
Chemistry came very easy to me. In those days, it was very difficult to get a job as a mathematician or as a physicist. There was very little activity there. But as a chemist, there were always a lot of chemical companies.
And so it was a great way, it was an in. Back then, you made a lot of money relatively quickly. What did money mean to you back then? Was it more about making money or the thrill of the chase and the closing of the deal when you got in all your real estate and all that the other things where you made a good portion of your
It was really kind of in three phases. The first phase was I just wanted to earn enough money so I could buy a house because I had a family. On a teacher's salary, you could not do that. Then secondly, I got to a point where I thought I could live very comfortably and teach on that low salary if I had a little backup income. Then thirdly, when things started rolling, I thought, wow, I could actually buy the Lakers and the Kings.
That was one of your first thoughts when you made all that money, like, oh my gosh, I can buy a professional sports franchise?
It was kind of simultaneous.
Yeah.
I owned a sports franchise at that time called the LA Strings. And while that was operating starting in 1973, between 73 and 79 is when I made most of the money. And in 79, that's when I bought the Lakers and the Kings.
Jerry, do you have everything you want?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. All right. So it's your birthday. It's coming around. We're putting yet another candle on the cake. What do you want? What do you want for your birthday?
You know, I like old movies. I watch a lot of old movies, and these days, all the old television programs you can get on CDs or DVDs, and I watch a lot of those. I like some of the old programs, Mannix and Kojak, and that's a lot of fun. So, you know, a DVD of an old movie, an old black and white movie, that makes a perfect gift for me. An old book, I still collect books. So either a book or a DVD, I don't think I'll ever get all of them. So the answer is there's a lot of room.
All right, let's talk about the sports that you mentioned. You played a little sports, but you were a sports fan. Tell us some of the other sports that you have a passion for. I understand you're kind of a big track guy. Track and field, do you have a passion for track?
Actually, track and field is my first love. I just absolutely love track and field. Go every time I get a chance. But, you know, I was a dyed-in-the-wool baseball fan even before the Dodgers came here, back in the Hollywood Star days. Of course, I followed USC since 1953. That's a pretty long time.
And by the way, there's a Trojan helmet about 15 feet away from us right now, and maybe we'll get back to USC. I'm going to interrupt because I want to go back to track. Track is a kind of sport that it's kind of a niche sport for people, and it was much more popular 50s, 60s, into the 70s too, and now it's kind of gone by the wayside. What was the romance of track? What really intrigued you about track and field that made you such a big fan?
I guess the idea of competing against yourself, trying to better yourself all the time. There were some really big marks in those days. For instance, the 4-minute mile. That was very exciting. The 7-foot high jump, that was a barrier. People had been jumping 6'11", 6'11 and a half many times, but nobody could jump 7 feet. The 60-foot shot put, that was another barrier. And to watch people come very, very close, within half an inch of breaking a world's record, there's something just fascinating to me to think that I can sit there and watch a performance which turns out to be the fastest that any human being has ever run, ever in history. That's just almost amazing to me. It's unique. I can't imagine anybody not just sitting around admiring the beauty of women.
In My Own Words is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Drive your way.
Tonight on the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Broadcasting legend, the great Al Michaels. And a special appearance from our own Lisa Durgan-Pasednik. Next on Best Damn.
Hear that? That's the sound of quality. Built into every new Hyundai Sonata in America's most advanced assembly plant. Sonata gives you more interior space than Camry or Accord. Plus, it's backed by America's best warranty. And the fuel efficient
defensive later in the day.
Yeah, the tank's amazing.
Ramp up. So
yeah.
if you'd like to wake up this holiday season into great Christmas music or whatever that gets you in the mood for the spirit. Lights. Good. Now, what are the things that
this morning that we could dismantle the gang or put a serious
Candidate.
Ask, but could
in London
earlier.
We have to show everyone.
HDTV powered by DLP. See how millions of tiny mirrors make the picture amazing.
Get the big picture with a Mitsubishi 1080p HD TV powered by DLP.
Hey, you guys are just like Supercuts, right?
You bet. Have a seat.
Next. Style only works.
Wow. I'm the best.
If it works for you. Supercuts, every time.
Back to your love of USC football. Where did it all begin? And what about that passion and the thrill of watching such a great university and this great program?
In Wyoming, growing up, you always hear about the Rose Bowl. And the Rose Bowl and USC seemed to kind of go together. And so I thought, wow, if I ever get a chance, as I wanted to teach at the University of Southern California would be absolutely fantastic for me. And so that's what happened. I went there in 1953, and I've been a big football fan ever since. I've seen not every game, but very close to it.
All right, let's get to poker. This is your love right now, isn't it? I mean, you've played for a long time, haven't you? You played basically your whole life. Am I correct on that?
I've played not competitive poker all my life. I mean, you know, just kitchen games. But the last 20 years.
I was going to say, when did it become really serious with Jerry Buss?
About 20 years ago.
What is it about gambling? You love it. You're in Vegas quite a bit. Play a lot of blackjack. What is that rush for you? I mean, is it the winning of the money? Is it just the gambling? I mean, what is the aspect that you really, really enjoy?
The competition.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of games you can play as you're younger and be very competitive. You can play tennis, you can play a little basketball, you can do a lot of things. But as you get older and older, those options disappear. Then poker comes in, and now you have a whole new career in competitiveness. And essentially that's what I'm doing. I've been playing actually in different countries, certainly in a lot of different cities.
I don't know if you're going to give this up to me because you've been asked, I'm sure, but I got to ask you because I never asked you before. Most you've won, most you've lost. In any one sitting at a poker game or at a blackjack table. If you don't mind giving it up.
No, I don't mind. I mean,
what's the most you've won?
The most I've ever won in a poker game, probably 75 to 100,000, somewhere in that vicinity. The most I've lost, probably double that amount.
That's usually what happens. You lose a little bit to finally win.
I'm an amateur. I am not a professional, but therefore I have overall added everything up. I am definitely a loser. But there are times I win, and hopefully I'm getting better all the time.
A completely different vein, but another love, women. What do you love about women?
They're beautiful. They're fascinating. I can't imagine anybody not just sitting around admiring the beauty of women.
Have you been able to figure them out? Everybody always says, you know, we're never going to be able to understand women, and they're never going to be able to understand us. Have you figured them out, or are they still a great mystery of life to you?
I heard a rumor that Freud, in his dying gasp, said, women, what is it they really want? And I wish I had been there because I could have answered that for him. It's simple. Everything.
Yeah, exactly. Say yes and give them everything. They do drive you crazy, though, sometimes, don't they?
I think they used to. Now I'm just a connoisseur. I just enjoy every moment. I am probably the best chair dancer in Los Angeles.
In My Own Words is brought to you by Jack in the Box.
Here are the no-nonsense facts about getting cash and getting it fast. Cash Call can put
stem cell research to fight cancer.
The goal of
Stone Mountain handbags today at 9 a.m. Eastern on QVC.
Oh my goodness, this is the, as we're taking a trip under the tree here on QVC. I'm Dave James. Thank you so much for joining us. Patrick Verweiss is here. How are you, buddy?
Great, Dave.
Toy expert for many, many years here at QVC. And this was my favorite thing. The hour before, when Sharon was on with Today's Special Value and kicking it off at midnight, all the guys and everybody who was getting ready for this show have been hanging out. I've been looking at you because when you've got a game system that's built right inside a little handheld, but, it may be small, easy to carry. Just plug it right into your television or your VCR if you have an older TV. To think that you have not 20 or 40 or 60 games, but
photo printer, only from Epson.
Try KFC's new cheesy chicken mashed potato bowls. It's all the KFC flavors you know and love served in a bowl. Great flavors come together at KFC.
portable, it's going to be lightweight, it's going to kind of fit anywhere. But we categorized all the games, so there's 101 different games in here, Dave, but each one is going to be categorized, so you're going to be able to find them easily.
Introducing the new Honda CRF F-Series.
Shooting games, IQ games, which are so popular right now, racing games, sports games. That makes it so easy. And you know what, Patrick, because I have some of your other plug-and-plays that you've brought here, they're so easy to use, you just pop them in. But I'm like a lot of people, all of a sudden I'm scrolling through these titles. I don't have a clue what some of these titles are, and I only land on 3.
Act with peppers and cheese to please your...
I can know, oh, you've got a ton of sports games, a ton of arcade games. Oh my goodness, how popular is Sudoku?
Exactly, we wanted to just show you that we kept everything. So we started out with a game that was real simple, real fun.
Melted cheese, only at Wiener Schnitzel, where we're pushing
Sudoku, which is going to be great for all the older guys. And what you're going to have to...
You have an iPod?
I do.
Okay, what's on it?
That's interesting. I have 1,000 old radio programs. I don't listen to the music. I have Sherlock Holmes and Boston Blackie and Abbott and Costello. And whenever I have some time, I put it in and listen.
You're going to be bored.
Relaxation for you and entertainment for you then too, isn't it?
It's fun. It's very fun. It's great on airplanes.
Yeah, because you're not going to get that on the in-flight entertainment. You got a lot of different things that you're interested in these days. But tell us something in that respect that is I'm not necessarily saying a hobby, but something that you're really focused in on that maybe you've just learned about over the last year or two that's just really in your focus right now. You know where I'm going with that?
Well, of course, I was a very big stamp collector and a big coin collector. I'm still very active in those fields. I don't collect much anymore, but I study a lot. In terms of hobbies, I'd say old radio programs.
That really is
it has become my real hobby these days.
Gotta know, Jerry Buss's perfect weekend. Starting on a Friday, going through a Sunday. What's the perfect weekend for you?
Well, Friday night would probably be a Laker game, followed by Saturday afternoon USC football, and then a club somewhere in Hollywood or Beverly Hills.
Are you going to go dancing too? Are you dancing when you're going to these clubs?
Not so much. My knees won't really hold up, but I am probably the best chair dancer in Los Angeles. I mean, I've got that beat going just perfect. So, but the knees won't get me on the floor. Sunday, I'd probably come back and have a nice game with the Lakers, and then probably head off to one of my favorite restaurants.
Can you cook?
I used to cook somewhat, but no longer.
No longer. A hot dog, an omelet, anything you needed to make, no?
Tuna fish sandwich.
But you do love your food, don't you? I mean, going out and dining is
yeah,
I
nice dine out almost every night of my life, and I like to try different restaurants, and I have my favorites.
Well, without, we don't want everybody inundating and hanging out with you and banging on your table and stuff, but are there a couple of restaurants in Los Angeles that are maybe hidden gems that, you'd love to share with everybody?
There's a very tiny Italian restaurant just down the street here called Pinguini, which is absolutely phenomenal. Pinguini is penguin in Italian. Of course, my favorite is Dan Tana's in Hollywood. It's not only my favorite, but I always see George Clooney and Keanu Reeves and everybody in Hollywood eats there. But
no, they know you, don't they? They come up and say hi to you, don't they?
Yes.
You love. I mean, what's it like running in that circle? Because I know that all those years at the Forum when you had the celebrities come in, and that was a thrill for you. I mean, I know that you would sit there and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm hanging out." So it must still be a thrill to have all these folks recognize you.
To look at Sean Connery and say, "Would you like another cup of coffee, Sean?" I mean, of course, that's fantastic. But I'll tell you, the very first thrill with the whole thing is when I bought the team, and Bill Sharman and Jerry West came into my office. I mean, what bigger names, what more fun could you have than saying, "Bill, Jerry, have a seat. Let's talk over the future of the Lakers. It was fantastic.
All right, with that, let's go to basketball. I want to go back and hit a couple of things a little bit later on before we end everything. But I'm going to throw some names out, and just not a one-word answer, but just the first things that come to you. Magic Johnson.
The best ever.
In everything.
He's phenomenal. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that he could have played with any team and won the championship.
How about as a human being? Because I know you guys are very, very close.
Even better. As a human being, it's hard to say he's better than the best, but that's what he is as a human being.
Jerry West.
Jerry, extremely talented, extremely emotional, very nervous man. He can make you nervous just being so nervous himself.
How about Phil Jackson?
The man's a genius. I don't know. To me, he's kind of strange, because I've sat around a lot of coaches and say, why would he do that? Why would he do that? It's seeming that he makes a mistake, and then at the end of the day you say, you know, this man has accomplished miracles. And it's not because he just has the talent. Last year was one of the most miraculous things I've ever seen in my life. You know, I'm sure it must be extremely difficult to grow up as a rich man's son or daughter.
In My Own Words is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Drive your way.